part that it had. And so he had to be born in a stable, in a little manger, in a stable in Bethlehem. You know what's happened in the world today? People have become too busy to find room in their life for Jesus. Let's start on a Monday morning. We get all the kids off to school. Mom and Dad kisses goodbye if they got time. If Dad ain't had to already leave, and said, honey, I'll see you this soon. Unless I have something to do over, I'll be home early today. But later on that evening, the phone rings, and some unexpected things have happened, and we don't get to come home. Days filled with Mom working, Dad working, kids in school. Get home, I saw one fellow day before yesterday, and he was telling me, he said, he was up at the place where I was getting my car worked on. He told me, he said, got one at some kind of practice, and another at some kind of thing at school. He said, got to pick one up at 5, another up at 5:30. I said, I remember those days. He said, it's like that every single day of the week. And he said, then on the weekends we got sports, and we got this, and we got that. I left there thinking, people have just got too busy to find room in their lives for Jesus Christ. We wonder today, please bear with me just a minute. We wonder today why there's so much homes breaking up today. We wonder why the children go in and shoot up schools. We wonder today why the families are in such a disarray. Did you know that there's a lot of families today that are just existing? They're not. They're just barely surviving. You know why? Because there's no room in that home for Jesus. The Bibles are very seldom read. Gospel music is a thing of the past. We don't have time to pray together. We don't even have time to really, we eat in such a hurry, we better go like, we're gone. Got to grab that sandwich and out the door. We got to do this, we got to do that. You know what we've done? We put all of our eggs in one basket. We banked on little Johnny to get the scholarship because he's a good football player, a good basketball player. And thank God for sports. I thank God for it. I thank God that it keeps a lot of kids out of trouble. I watched the program the other day, and they was telling about this young boy, and that he was just terrible young man. But the coach took him in and started loving him and being good to him, and spotted him and saw what a dynamic ball player he was. And today the young man's playing college ball and doing great and has an education and has done very successfully in life. I thought about Mike Tyson. They hardly a person in here that's never heard of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a young man that grew up and had a very rough street life. Man stole his bicycle one day, and he went down and broke his jaw and took his bicycle back, packed it back to the house. There was a fellow named Gus DeMono that saw Mike Tyson. But instead of seeing Mike Tyson as a preacher or a Sunday school teacher, he saw Mike Tyson as a man that could take his fist and knock people cold. And so an old man named Gus DeMono, he's dead now, but he took Mike Tyson under his wing. Took him to Catskills, New York, I think it was. I read the history about him. Watched him many times. Brother Roger, he took that young man. And he was not a very large fellow. He was about 5'10", 5'11". Weighed, sometimes I honestly believe they pumped him up to make him weigh a lot more than what he really did. Weighed about 200, 210, something like that. And really, to tell you the truth, that he was a Muhammad Ali or he was a Rocky Marciano, he really wasn't. But I'll tell you what he done. He'd get in that ring, when he hit him, he'd turn their toenails back to his own. I'm not joking. The guy had one of the most terrible punches that you've ever heard of in your life. And some men, I believe he could have blown on them and they'd have fell over. Just said, give me my paycheck. I don't want this animal hitting me. I watched that young man fought fighter after fighter after fighter and just knocked him out. Went undefeated and went to the heavyweight championship of the world. The old man died and the beast came out in that boy. Now watch as Mike Tyson disintegrated right before America's eyes. And every sports fan across the world saw Mike Tyson then fall apart. He had a Jaguar that was like 75 or 100,000, or maybe even more than that. He didn't have any license. And he had a wreck one time, And he got out and he asked the guy if his car was hurt. And he recognized who he was. And he said, "Is your car hurt?" He said, "Yeah, we need to call the law." He said, "I'll tell you what, here's the keys to mine. I'll catch a ride. Just, you can have mine, just don't call the law. I don't have any license." And he rolled off, left his car there, gave it to the man. He spent millions and millions of dollars. You know what Mike Tyson is today? He's a sideshow. He just goes around and does this and does that. He fought till he couldn't fight anymore. You know what the devil done with him? Took everything he had. You know why? They saw the potential of that boy's life to beat other people up. You know what Mike Tyson would have been a whole lot better off? If somebody found him, took him to Sunday school, got him some nice Sunday clothes, took him to church and told him about Jesus. You say, "Well, Brother Danny, he probably had women and he had money and he had power and he had prestige, and look, he was the heavyweight champion of the world." Take that to court and see if he can buy you a cup of coffee. You know what a lot of those professional athletes have done? One man sold the trophy that he won. I think one boxer sold a belt, some kind of ornament that he had, because he didn't have any money. He was flat broke. But you know what Jesus done? He took a 19-year-old boy one day. He found me when I was so lost that I couldn't find my own way. And you know what he done to me? He gave me hope in a hopeless life. He gave me meaning when all meaning seemed like it was gone. One of these days, I'm just going to take 30 minutes or so. I'm going to share with you a little testimony of what the Lord done in my life, and how He changed me, and how He can change you if you're ready. I want the singers and musicians to come. Do you really know who Jesus is? Or are you just serving because somebody told you that? You never felt His presence. You think, Brother Danny, I can feel Him, you can feel Him. He walks with me, He talks with me. One fellow said one time, said his name surely is Andy, because that guy keeps saying about Andy. Andy walks with me.